Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Xenogears. I'm Dan.
And I'm Austin.
We are here to play games.
With great intensity.
Yes.
But still badly.
Yes, exactly. All right. So, last time on Xenogears, we got all our preparations in place. We did all of the side quests that are available at in-game, with the exception of, really getting a lot of battle arena stuff done. I may mess with that a little bit, kind of on my own time. So if you have any interest in seeing any of the extra stuff there, we might could do a smaller thing. But for the most part, we got everything done here. We got through the final dungeon, and so we're just kind of hanging out right in front of the final boss right now.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of go ahead and get into it here. Gonna make our journey back through all of the shenanigans here, part of Old Merkava here.
Yeah. And if you do want to see, say, more battle arena stuff, especially with Regulus, right?
Yeah, El Regulus, yeah.
Or anything else, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, leave a comment if you just want to see random shenanigans here. We are more than capable of that. So,
I mean, they get random shenanigans no matter what video they watch.
Pretty much. One thing I did want to mention as we're kind of making our way back here is we had discussed a little bit about Abel last time, and I did want to mention a little bit more about his story. So basically, we'll jump inside momentarily, but
You want to jump inside?
I do here in a second. So just a couple of things on Abel. There was a sense of need to control the growing population first days on this planet. So Cain was progressively getting portrayed as God, basically, or the advent of God. And Myung was encouraging this, basically, because of her goals. And so he was beginning to be worshipped and creating this idea of a chosen people. So in EC 10, so 10 years after the crash, when this belief was growing, Abel stood in opposition to him, believing in free will and not, the destiny of God, while Cain was engaging in manipulation and desired to basically resurrect Deus along with Myung, of course, because that's always her goal. It always has been her goal. And so, basically what Cain was making up for was that sin. Ellie threw herself in the way and saved Abel in the end. And we don't really know anything else about what happened with him beyond that. But yeah, just a little bit more color on the first advent of the contact, if you will.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and jump inside here. Let us get this moving.
Xenogears go down the hole.
All right.
Ooh. This is Deus?
What are those spinning four orbs spinning around it? It seems as if the power of those four things is supporting the center.
So that means that big thing in the middle is the core of Deus? Probably. Who cares about those orbs? Let's just crush the core. My man. Striking directly at the center rather than using fuel unnecessarily. That is one strategy, but I believe another plan of attack would be to defeat its surroundings first. If we decide to attack the supporting orbs first, it might be wise to leave the battles up to us. We should be able to do something about them without using up phase power.
That'll allow him to use the full power of Xenogears to defeat Deus. And yes, of course, to save Ellie.
Whether we do a direct strike to the core or take down the support first, I guess it's best left up to fate to decide. You're the main character. The main character always knows what to do.
That's right.
Thanks, everyone. To attack Deus directly or to take out its supports first. I wonder which is best.
All right. So, welcome to the final arena in this game.
It is trippy.
Yeah, it's crazy looking. We are going to go ahead and handle some of these sub-bosses. I've made a bit of an executive decision on this, but we'll get into a little bit more of that later. So we are going to bring in Choo Choo. It is Choo Choo's time to shine.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yes. Let's start with... I'll bring in Maria, and I'll bring in Rico for our first combination here. So my intention is to use my favorite party for the final boss. I believe what I am going to do here is go ahead and show you all the sub-bosses, and then what we're going to do is reset so you can see the full-powered final boss, and I'll get into more of the stat differences there once we get there. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we're equipped well. This is going to be kind of physical bruiser party here. Beforehand, off-screen, I have unequipped my main party so that I have access to all the cool stuff here.
Soul God.
Yeah, so we're going to do Speed Shoes, Billy Jr. Billy Jr., as a reminder, is 25% boost to hit and evasion, and it works in gears. And, yeah, the Ollie Pendant. And then Rico, I still have the Memento chain on him, but...
Oh, yeah, because he's the only one that can use it, right?
He is, that's right. Yeah, I could put an evasion ring on him. I'm not too concerned about it. Did I go past it? I did. I'm silly. Ha! Okay. Yeah, so I'll probably just leave that alone. Now, we're going to equip Choo Choo here. I'm going to give Choo Choo... I'm going to go with the doubler, one of my doublers, and then Speed Shoes as well. So the Choo Choo Idol boosts, I believe, attack, defense, and... two other stats that I can't remember at the moment for some reason. Anyway, it's a boost to most stats. Let me make sure I get this for you guys. Oh yeah, attack, defense, ether, and ether defense, all by 20%. So that's going to be handy. We're basically making Choo Choo's healing ability as powerful as possible here. The other thing I want to point out is you might notice Choo Choo has like 800 HP and 90 EP. We'll go ahead and look at the gear stat. So 41,000 HP on Choo Choo here. And then very high defense stat. It's not quite as high as my other party members here. We're going to equip their gears here in a second. But solid. And Choo Choo is able to heal gears. So that is what she is going to be doing. Let me go ahead and get gear equipment in place here. And we'll jump into it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so I'm going to do a GNRS 50, a magnetic coat, and instead of a frame HP, I'm going to do a Z charger, and we're just going to do that. The exception is going to be Billy's gear, which it is my intention, I think, to use power magic. No, actually, I believe I'm probably going to equip his the same way. He will have a doubler, though, in case I need to really lay into him with the ether attacks. So the other thing I do want to mention here is there are 4 different sub-bosses. To my knowledge, it's impossible to determine which one you're going to fight by just looking at it. So what we're going to do is kind of fly at it and just see which one we get.
Doesn't help that they're rotating around the body either.
Right. There's no consistent position. Look at Choo Choo.
Boing, 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 boing.
Yeah.
Is this how she flies? She just rolls in midair?
Pretty much.
Wow.
All right, let's see which one we got.
Incredible.
This one is weird. Okay. So, fuel drain. Kind of an annoying ability. I don't remember how much it drains. 400. Okay, that might be like 5% of fuel or something. Let's go ahead. We're gonna start smacking it. This one, you have to hit it as if it is an enemy that is on the ground. I I'm kind of happy that these are the big gears doing this, because we just kind of, stomp on them. Yeah, and Forest Dance normally costs 2. It costs 4 with the doubler, but we will get double healing out of it. No healing is necessary currently, so... Bam. Okay, yeah, this is Marlut. So I'll start talking about the names of these bosses. So Marlut is one of a pair of bosses, Marlut and Harlut. They are references to the angels Harut and Marut from the Quran that were said to teach humans the art of sorcery in Babylon, and they were punished for their crimes by being trapped on Earth. Throw hearts. But yeah, all of the supporting orbs around Deus are named after angels, and they all have a special ability. In Marlut's case here, it is Fuel Drain. So each of these abilities are abilities that Deus has if you do not kill the supporting orb. So that's one of the benefits of actually doing this, is you will seal annoying abilities like Fuel Drain. Go ahead and keep throwing these. The other benefit is, if you kill all the supporting orbs, Deus will have progressively less HP. So if you're just kind of playing through, story and stuff, and you're not really kind of grabbing the GNRS 50s or anything, you just kind of want to get through it, this is a good opportunity. You can just throw... I went and bought a bunch of HP drives in the last episode for Choo Choo. You don't have to do that. You can just kind of use Choo Choo and throw the heals, or you can just use your other party members as you need here. And yeah, you can kill the support orbs, and then the final boss will have almost halved HP and fewer abilities, and you'll have a fresh main party to do it with, so...
I like Elstier.
Yeah.
I think it looks kind of like its pilot.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's got that organic look going.
Yeah, but there is something really appealing to just the old beater pickup vibe that comes from Steer prior.
Yep. The base gear.
Pre-animus.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss the giant rocket cell on the back.
Sealed Deus's Fuel Drain. Yeah, I agree.
It's a cool gear. It's a really cool gear, and it looks like it's got Rico's hair coming out of the back of it. But I don't know.
It kind of does. Yeah. Yeah. Elstier is pretty cool. I am a fan of it. I certainly... The stat upgrade is kind of nice as well, and I actually like the design of Elstier more, but that probably speaks to our differences on just aesthetic stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, in general, it is a cooler thing, but I don't know. There's sometimes the old clunky falling apart thing is aesthetically appealing.
Yeah.
Because everything else is streamlined and cool,
Sure. Yeah, that's you got all these sleek gears. How about this thing that just hits like a freaking truck and it's rattling and stuff?
Right. Yeah. Are his fists literally made out of train cars? Yes. Don't worry about that. We're moving on.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Right.
We're gonna keep rotating through. I'm gonna just pair up Bart and Rico here.
Oh, nice. Sup, Rico?
I feel like this is a pretty cool pair.
Bart. Oh, it kind of makes me think of Mass Effect just a tiny bit. With Shepard and
Rex.
Rex.
Yeah.
What's going on, Rex?
Shepard. Rex. Shepard. Yeah. I agree.
I love that dynamic. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I figured since we were talking about it, I'll use Rico for this next battle as well.
Yeah.
It is a little annoying to move things around here, but yeah, it's not so bad. You can just use your pair of gears for 2 of them, then switch to another pair of gears. You could just not use Choo Choo at all and just kind of use up your other gears as you need as well.
Right.
There's any number of ways you could do it this way.
But you don't get the beautiful, like, hearts being thrown at you.
Exactly.
Constantly.
The power of hearts.
The power of friendship is on our side. Ooh, that's actually a cool looking combination because of
The wings.
yeah, Elanvari's wings, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Ah, this one's cool. I like this one.
What a weird looking creature.
Sundel.
Sundial.
Sundial. Yeah, I think, yeah, Sundel is... Let's go ahead and get this moving here. Sure, I got Bart here. Let's wild smile it. Sundel is a reference to the angel Sandalphon. Sandalphon is an archangel from the mystical traditions of Rabbinic Judaism and early Christianity, whose role is to gather prayers and pass them on to God. Friendship, Bart.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been hoping for a specific order of these angels, and so far it is happening, but we will see.
I will give you all my love.
That's right. Ow.
Oh.
Ah, yes, this is the ability that you seal, heal/restore 1,000. When Deus uses it, Deus will heal 4,000 to itself.
Jeez.
Just a little more potent. The other thing, unless Choo-Choo is in, like, critical danger, don't bother healing her, because you can just use an Omega Sol in between combat, and it will restore her gear health as well. Kind of the advantage of using Choo-Choo here, along with, you know, tossing hearts everywhere while dealing with these cosmic threats.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Friendship is magic.
That's right.
She's such a weird creature.
The Choo-Choo? Yeah,
Well, really, they all are, but like,
that's true.
Choo-Choo's another character that I wish we had more information about.
Yeah.
Like, we learn a little bit about their history.
Oh, wow. I got crunched quickly.
Yeah, but it'd be cool to see more of them.
Yeah, like, yeah, Choo-Choos in general.
Yeah,
Yeah. I agree.
I'm sure if they had had the time to really like flesh out this too, we probably would have gotten more for Choo-Choo, like whole side quests,
Yeah, I agree.
finding their homeland or something, you know?
Yeah, it's sort of one of my criticisms is that several of the characters kind of get not explored very thoroughly. Choo-Choo's one of them. Poor Rico is another one as well. Like, he's got a really strong start, and then you just kind of don't get a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy too because he's got some of the most interesting like potential story there because he has such a good like introduction.
Yeah. Yeah, he the whole thing with the Kaiser as well and the Elru stuff, they keep talking about Dominia, and it's just, well, Rico gonna have some relation to this. You want to talk about Rico? You don't want to talk about Rico, do you? Okay, all right.
Yeah, having more information from Elru would have been cool too.
Yeah.
And him falling through the vent.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
And Faye's talking to the Kaiser.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
He just like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Yep. Go get him. Yeah.
What's up, Pops?
That's right.
Man, we have come a long way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. It's you think about the beginning of this game and how simple it is, and now we are here, like, dealing with this crazy threat. Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and equip the Godfather. So that's the best weapon for Billy's gear here. So, and we got some Godson ammo in the Zeboim ruins. So, armed to the teeth here. And yeah, I did get those right. Yep, I did.
Speaking of the Zeboim ruins, you were telling me that we had learned more about Big Joe, I guess, from Perfect Works.
Yeah, there's some background info on Big Joe. So Big Joe is from Zeboim. He's actually from the Zeboim era. Hang on a second.
It's a giant H.
Yeah, I think I know which one this is.
Oh, it's a track.
This is Metatron. Earthly Anointment.
Metatron.
Yeah. So Metatron was the one I was hoping to get last, but that's all right. Yeah, Earthly Anointment is like an AoE attack that is also the ability Deus will have from Metatron. Let's go ahead and Wild Smile. Metatron is the highest archangel in Merkaba mysticism in Islam, sometimes identified as the Archangel Michael or as the prophet Enoch, transformed into an angel. And sometimes identified as the Ancient of Days from the Book of Daniel by some scholars, popularly the voice of God. If you've seen the movie Dogma, you've seen the Metatron as a character as well.
It's really interesting that Metatron is viewed as Enoch turned into an angel or as Michael. Like, those are very different approaches to the same entity.
Yeah, a lot of it's like the various mystical texts, different groups interpret it different ways. Metatron has multiple different, and I believe there's even some presence in like Roman Catholic traditions of Metatron as well.
Yeah. And Ancient of Days, I've always heard traditionally considered to be Jesus.
Right.
So I find that interesting also that that's a interpretation.
Yeah, it's a potential one for sure. Depends on your tradition, the mystical alignment of who is talking at the time. It's interesting. Right. Metatron is, you can spend a lot of time reading about Metatron. Certainly the most interesting of them, in my opinion. And if you've played Megaten Shin Megami Tensei games, you've probably seen Metatron as well. The major player in a few of them.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oof.
Of course, all I can hear is Megatron in my head. I have to keep separating that because, it's clearly not a Transformer.
Megatron!
Have a party of like personas and it's Megatron, Metaton.
Yeah, right.
Something else.
I forgot Optimus Prime at home. Hold on.
Yeah, right. Prime 2.0.
Yeah. All right. Let's throw Twin Snake. It's gonna be pretty damaging here. Nice.
Yeah. So Big Joe
was
in Zeboim.
I was talking about Big Joe.
Yeah, he was cryogenically frozen.
Right. Yeah, he was
that time?
Yeah, he was cryogenically frozen. He was like a hero from the Zeboim era, and he was frozen, and they like accidentally froze him too quickly, so they didn't have the technology to unfreeze him like ever.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so he got like they couldn't do anything about it. He was just frozen, and then later when the ruins were being excavated, they found his like pod, and they like threw it in the ocean or something. Like whoever was it was just completely, everything about Big Joe is just absurd for the sake of being absurd. It's fantastic. But because he like washed up on like a warm beach, he warmed gradually enough to where he survived it, and then woke up and just started doing things to like random heroism because it's Big Joe,
Just because Joe, yeah.
Right.
Was he like a war hero then? Because I know there was like a talk about a war at the time.
Yeah, he might have been, or he was like an action hero of some kind or something. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. Like, I probably need to read a little more about Big Joe if there's more content.
Right.
If you've played Xenosaga, the name also might sound familiar, vaguely. Metatron, Sealed, Earthly Anointment.
Okay. Well, I think one of the books you collected was like a comic book about Big Joe.
Oh, yep.
And they need to have actual Big Joe comic books that you can like purchase.
I agree.
I would read those.
Yeah. I would as well. That would be hilarious.
Plus it'd be a good opportunity for them to like showcase more of the world they built that we just don't get to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rights to this game being what they are, we would have to get that from Square Enix. But yeah. By the way, I did want to mention the Sonic G-Whip here is Bart's best weapon for his gear. I know we've had it since like an Anima dungeon and just kind of purchased it. There isn't like a big best weapon to get for Bart. Out of everyone that equips weapons at the end of the game, he's the only one that doesn't have like a big upgrade. It's just the Sonic G-Whip. So
Wow.
Sort of unfortunate. I was lamenting that a little bit when kind of looking over, making sure I had all the best stuff. Like, yeah. These. Okay. We'll bring Maria back in for this last orb here.
Yeah, it's been kind of cool to showcase some of these other characters that we haven't used much this game.
Yeah. I like all of these characters, and I've considered, maybe using them a little bit more. It's just I have a favorite party, but it isn't necessarily like this is mechanically the best one. There are some minor mechanical difference, but this really is like literally just use whoever you like the most.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be an Emeralda fan. I love Emeralda. And I like Citan as well. Citan is a great party member, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Sometimes when I'm watching you play, and I'm sure this happens to you the other way around, which I don't have a solid opinion here, but especially with JRPGs, there's always the question of like, how would I have done my party? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like we were going through Tales of Arise, and I had a set of characters I kept defaulting to just because it mechanically made the most sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember us discussing how you would have used a couple of different characters,
right,
for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
And it's just because of how we play.
Yeah.
But there are other games that we play, and we're like, oh yeah, that is the party.
That's
even though
the
it's
party.
not necessarily the mechanically the best party, it's just that's just how we operate.
Right.
So
there we go. Choo-choo a restore here.
So anyway, all that to say is I find myself curious if I were to play this game blind, without like your input. I wonder who I would have defaulted to.
Yeah. Citan is a very commonly used character in this game because of how powerful he is, and early on you just see how strong he is because he is very much a this design is cool. I forgot about this one.
It's a black hole.
Alert. Yeah, space and time. All right, so currently Maria is the only one that can move. So let's just start smacking. Wow. Yep. This is the pillar I hate fighting the most.
Fists.
Just rocket fists. Cybzine is so cool.
Crazy.
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Let's see if I get a hyper mode. Doing so much damage. That's gonna hurt. Oof.
Wow. I think that's the most damage I've seen any one of those do yet.
Yep. Let's see. This should be alright.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Friendship.
Have some friendship, Billy. Thanks.
Wow.
Alright, let's do a level 3 here. This might break damage cap with the GNRS 50. Yep. 13,950.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is one thing I did want to mention is the mechanical problem with damage in this game is that it's got the, traditional JRPG 9999 damage cap of its era. Like turn-based RPGs on the PS1 almost all had something like that. So in the case of building your gears, if you run it with like 3 GNRS 50s and the Omega 100 engine, you're going to do crazy damage. You have huge output by doing that. But what you're going to want to do is probably level 1 death blows, because they're so efficient. So, and because you have... Oh, we defeated this one. Because you have 3 GNRS 50s, you can't really use a death blower 1 with that build. So you're going to be doing triangle square, and you'll be doing like 15,000 damage or something every time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy how much damage you can do with that. Also, that sealing that pillar seals Heavenly Anointment, which is like a status move. It doesn't really use Heavenly Anointment for some reason, but yeah. And this is what it looks like without any of the pillars. So the final boss is up there in the middle. Now, like I said, I am going to reload, and we're going to go ahead and fight the final boss at full power. The only differences are the abilities, Heavenly Anointment, Earthly Anointment, Fuel Drain, and the other one, which I can't remember right now. Anyway, all 4 of those will be gone, and the final boss will reduce drastically in HP. So full power Deus has 75,000. Powered down Deus, which is right here, has 40,000. Because we hit
you make really short work of that with your current setup.
Right. Because we hit damage cap with every hyper mode, we're gonna go for the full power one, and we're gonna crunch him. So we'll be right back.
Yep. See you in a minute.
And we're back.
Hi.
Hello.
That took forever. Not really.
It took so long, yeah. So we're back with my preferred party. I'll just give you a quick rundown of what I am using. So I'm running a Holy Pendant, Billy Jr. doll, and Speed Shoes on Faye. Citan, I've got the Pendant and Speed Shoes and an Evasion Ring. And then Emeralda, same, and the Ether Doubler.
I still love the fact that some of these dolls are handmade by Choo Choo.
I know, it's fantastic.
Like, she's had nothing better to do, so she's made some dolls. Good luck charms.
Yep, exactly. I do have Fenrir with the Kyujin sword, and then all of my gears are running GNRS 50, magnetic coat, and frame HP 30. You can use power magics if you want to spam ethers with Crescents. I like running hyper mode with her, even though she's got high ether potential, because I can 9999, and she's got the 20% damage boost. Crescents is just brutal. Actually, the lowest power gear here is probably Fenrir, but he'll destroy as well.
I was going to say that really says a lot, because it's still a pretty potent gear.
Yeah, very good. The Kyujin sword gives a good boost as well. So we're going to avoid the orbs, and we're just going to go right in.
And the moment we've all been waiting for.
That's right. Deus.
Oh.
Looks pretty different, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it does, but also the left and right hands look like the opposing mothers.
Indeed.
And that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So we're just gonna bring up attack levels here. I like to do it with weak hits. And the objective here is gonna be to throw hyper mode hits. As a note, this is one of my favorite musical numbers from this soundtrack. It's called Awakening. Fantastic final boss theme. Already using its healing ability, huh?
That's okay. That's one attack.
Yeah, so Heavenly Anointment here, it will say power loss, or defense down. Not power loss. Power loss is a different one. I've never really had problems with it. I think armor loss 20%. Again, if you work at it, you're just so overpowered for this boss that full power Deus is no problem.
Yeah. So the legs are actually two hands crossed downward, and then the upper body are two hands holding their respective mother figures, I assume.
Right.
They at least look to be that way.
I was hoping it wouldn't do this. It's
Well, and also kind of angel and devil as well.
yes,
That's interesting.
indeed. Okay. Let's go ahead and throw some of these.
Hyper mode.
I think these will all hit damage cap. Unfortunately, Emeralda got confused. But
So,
I think she'll drop out of it here in a second.
can you break? You've broken damage cap in these fights, not this fight, but like
Right. So when I broke damage cap, that was with a level 1 combination, I believe. Or it was a level
Okay.
3. Okay, here we go. This location. So every hit is capped, but a level 1 combo is 2 hits. So it's the initial hit, and then it's the combo.
Oh, okay, that's how that's happening.
Right.
You probably explained that, and then went in one ear and out the other. I apologize.
I don't know if I adequately explained it. Stop being confused, Emerald. I want to use Dark World. Oh,
yeah.
well. So we've already knocked it down about 30,000 with this hit right here.
That is
a fun one.
It's so crazy
Yeah.
that would have been basically the Davis fight right there had we.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. This is a cool move. The other thing I want to do, and I'm going to make sure it happens, is why I'm counting damage, is I want Deus to use its ultimate move. So we are going to do that before we beat it. This is not its ultimate. It is a pretty cool one, though. And as it says on the bottom of the screen there, it is an angel elemental, so you can reduce it if you need.
Huh.
Does a good bit of damage, though, as you can tell. Oh, good. She's not confused anymore. I'm going to go ahead and frame HP because Deus's ultimate move is the hardest hitting move in the game.
Yeah? How much does it do?
About 16,000.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can hyper mode Emeralda. I am going to use one of these in order to... I know Xenogears is still hyper mode. Alright. Come on now, guys.
So, do you think the angel and demon winged imagery there is also kind of representative of, what we've seen depicted as having an angel and a demon in your ear, right? Trying to get you to go one way or the other.
Oh, maybe. I think it's more indicative of the dual nature of the mother than anything. But yeah, I could see it. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw one more from Xenogears here before hyper mode runs out and I gotta build it up again. Now this would be powered down Deus dead, and I've been sandbagging this pretty hard, so.
Yeah.
But this should actually trigger a phase change. Yep.
Oh.
So powered down, Deus will do this at the very beginning of the fight because once it reduces to 40,000 HP, it enters phase 2, which every hit will result in a counter from one of those angels, and it will do it randomly, just like this.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
It looks brutal, and it's capable of several thousand damage on its own.
Yeah,
so.
it looked like he kind of blocked some of that damage on the second hit.
Yeah, the red text there is indicative of that. Deus has about 35,000-ish remaining. I am trying to get a hyper mode on Citan or Emeralda, or both, ideally. Sometimes it likes me, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Give me hyper.
Alright, that should
5% chance. Gracious.
Yeah. Alright.
Meanwhile, Xenogears is like, I'm hyper all the time.
Yeah, 99%. That's why it's so good.
Ellie, quit shooting me with your beams.
I know, right? Here we go. Ultimate move.
Looks a little bit like Solaris.
A little bit.
Just call it what it is. Casting Death Star.
Pretty much. This is like the only move I know of in this game that has this long of an animation.
This might be the longest special animation I've seen in a JRPG. And there's some doozies out there. This one is quite long.
It's a little bit shorter than Supernova, say for Sephiroth's Supernova. And I would like to also add Eden is one of the longest from Final Fantasy VIII. 15,000.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Eden is pretty long.
Eden is so long.
Yeah.
So that was Ultimate Break, which is Deus's best move. And now
Ow, 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 ow.
we're gonna go ahead and heal.
Guys, is my face on fire? It feels kind of warm.
Yeah. Sure. We'll heal it. Faye as well. This should put Xenogears back in hyper mode, so I'll finish it off with Xenogears if we can't get hyper mode on one of them. Come on now. No, apparently not. Oh, here we go. All right, here I'm gonna use Emeralda's X. This one's cool.
Oh, nice. I don't think we've seen this one yet, have we?
I don't think so.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Hands.
Ow.
Stop it.
I love the
Come
wings.
now. I really like Xenogears, like, hyper mode is just spitting out so much ether.
Yup. Massive wings on the back of it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Quite a big combo there.
Oof. Yeah, it was.
Let's give it one more here and see if Citan will pop his hyper mode. He's at a 40% chance. We'll do a 10x charge there. We do have holy pendants on everyone, so everyone will get 6. Nope, he's being stubborn. Let's give him one more chance, and then we will go ahead and finish this off with Emeralda and Faye. Got 10x charge.
Man, they are determined to kick Citan while he's down.
Yep.
Oof.
My hubris. Okay. They just won't do it. All right, you know what we're going to do?
That was almost cap.
Yeah. It's a cool one. His hyper modes are pretty cool, but we're not going to sandbag it any longer. Just going to finish this off. Being a little dangerous here, but
Crunch it, crunch it.
you know,
That's a heal if I ever saw one.
it's to make it more exciting, right?
Right.
There we go. Epic final battle. Gotta have a gigantic explosion, right?
Yeah.
Really cool design. I like Deus's design a lot.
Who's piloting it?
Who's piloting it?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's just like, it looks like a gear, though, so like...
It kind of does, yeah. I mean, it is a weapon, and the gears, like our Omni gears specifically, were kind of designed to be pieces of it.
Right.
So, it makes sense. And Xenogears and Deus share a lot of design elements, like the white color and the wings and everything.
Right. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of an embodiment of the two opposing worldviews.
Mm-hmm. And dark.
What happened? My gear won't budge anymore. Not again. The Zohar modifier has ceased functioning. Oh, yeah. The ether's just gone.
All gone.
That's probably the reason why our gears cannot move anymore. There's only a slight energy response coming from the core now. What about Ellie? What's happening to her inside of that thing? The Deus System's bind on her should have worn off now. So why aren't we getting any kind of response? You don't think we hurt her in that battle too? Faye, calm down. The senses are picking up a response from a life form within Deus. It's Myung. It's probably Ellie, so do not worry. I believe she is okay. They're the same people at the moment. Ellie, can you hear me, Ellie? Deus is no longer active. He's been ex machina'd.
That's right.
It's all over now. So come out of there. Show me your face. Ellie! Ellie! What? What's happening? Doc, what's going on? What's wrong? I'm now detecting a tremendous amount of energy coming from within Deus. It seems as if something that was sealed up till now has suddenly been freed and is growing enormously. It couldn't be. The wave existence? The wave existence? You been smoking that pipe again? That's gotta be it. The wave existence was just freed from its cage of fleshly existence in Zohar. It's probably attempting to return to the higher dimension that it originally came from. Which means this is the after effect of the dimensional shift? What do you mean, after effect? I mean, we should all get out our gears and run. If you could.
Yeah.
It is like a shockwave that is induced by the dimensional displacement. But, so much energy? If this is much energy is unleashed here now, if so much energy is unleashed, then what will happen, Doc? Tell us! And this planet will be annihilated. These numbers indicate that it was more than enough energy to take out a whole planet. What do you mean? Choo-choo. You can't be serious. We all fought so hard, only to see this happen? Isn't there anything we can do? Can't we stop the after effect? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Almost all machinery, including our gears, are out of commission due to Zohar having been shut down. This time, there's nothing we can do. To put it to you straight, this is the end for us. This is freaking stupid. How the hell could it all end up like this? Bart has got some Yusuke Urameshi energy.
Yes. Yes, he does.
This is stupid. Oh, what were we all fighting up for up to now? The vibrations are intensifying. Hold on a sec. No, these vibrations are different. What? Has to be something else causing it. Look. Deus is rising? What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
What is it this time? Deus is releasing its remaining energy and is beginning to accelerate. If I go down, I'm taking you with me. If it continues to accelerate at this rate, it will soon leave the atmosphere. You don't think... Think what? What's thinking? That's it. That it's Ellie? Ellie's moving Deus? Are you sure? No. I'm I'm sure of it. I mean, yes.
Faye is.
Yeah. Ellie is trying to save us from moving Deus away from our planet. Save us by moving.
Yes.
She's going to sacrifice herself. That can't be. Oh, Ellie. Can't we do anything? We can't just sit here and watch this happen, can we?
Hmm.
I mean, if you got an idea, I'm all ears. Wait, there is still something I can do. What is it, Faye? My gear still works. Without Zohar, the power source for your gears, the only gear that now remains active is mine. Just like Deus, my gear and I made contact with Zohar. We are the only ones who can move now. I'm going to go save Ellie. So, is that saying that Choo can't move because she hasn't made contact with Zohar as well?
Choo Choo?
Yeah.
I think the issue with Choo Choo is more that she can't go flying after Deus as it leaves the atmosphere than her being unable to move at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they kind of gloss over it, but I'm pretty, like, it would be ridiculous if Choo Choo, and just kidding, Choo Choo's the real hero. She'll come flying after and bring Ellie back. It'll be fine.
I mean, she's already gone from being a tiny thing to enormous, and then she proved that she could fly around by bouncing in the air, so...
That's true.
I mean, who's to say she needs oxygen at all?
You just fly through space, it's fine.
Right. Right. That is absurd. I agree. Even if you were able to catch up to Deus, you will not have enough energy to make it back. Even so, I still must go. Ellie's taking the whole burden upon herself. My love! If anything happens to her, I want to be there with her. Hey, just wait a minute. You know I'm not going to stand by and let you commit double suicide, if that's what you're planning. Bart, you better come back alive, you hear? Or I'll kill you. Promise me that you'll come back. Then I'll let you go. Thanks, Bart. I promise. I promise you that I will return. With Ellie. You better. Yeah, of course. Don't notice the fact that I got my fingers twisted behind my back. All right, then get going. But let's let him go, Sighton. It's not like you can stop him anyway.
It's true.
At this point, Faye's the only one that'll be able to bring Ellie back. There's nothing we can say or do about it. Literally. You're right, Faye. You are right. Faye, keep your promises. No matter what. Faye and Ellie. Both of you. Come back home. We'll be waiting for Choo. I appreciate this, Bart, and the rest of you. Well, I better get going now, but don't worry, I'll be back soon. I guess this will be the last journey you and I make together. I'm counting on you, partner. And to think, I hated Gears when I first started this mission.
That's right. Go after it. Go, Faye, go.
Oh, that's a cool shot.
Yeah.
Ellie! What is this?
You remember, it was theorized that the wave existence was trying to reascend to its dimension.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Okay, so it's traveling through the Sephiroth tree?
Right. Yeah, it's ascending the tree.
Did we break that down at all?
We will.
Okay. Where am I? You're in a mindscape. That's Ellie. This must mean that I'm inside of Deus? Not exactly.
Just want to mention this song is called One Who Bears Fangs at God. It's my favorite song on this soundtrack.
Her actual body is but a physical object. It has merely been absorbed into Deus's outer shell. Only your consciousness is here. Of course, the girl you perceive in front of you is also not a true being. Her consciousness is merely creating her image.
Hmm?
Yeah, I was to say, it doesn't look like the wave existence that we encountered before.
Indeed.
A wave existence? No. That's not you. Who are you? I'm Krillian.
Correct.
It can't be. Is that you, Krillian? That's right, isn't it? Krillian. It was you who did this to Ellie. The path of Sephiroth has been connected. No one can stop God from returning to his world now.
Yeah, so we did break down the path of Sephiroth a little bit. The tree, and it's going to be beyond the scope of what I think we're doing here to fully describe it, but in this sense, the dimensional ascension the wave existence is attempting to use to return to its dimension is the path of Sephiroth, and it's connecting between kind of the physical reality to the reality of the existence, where everything is waves.
Kind of feels a little bit like the Bifrost.
A little bit, but the path of Sephiroth is both. It's supposed to span all of existence, right? It's God's emanations, which we talked a little bit about the monad that the wave existence is modeled after, and how those emanations created the physical universe eventually after going through multiple iterations. And the physical universe manifests the demiurge, which is sort of like what Deus is in this game. But in this sense, it's sort of like that, except the dimension the existence is from is very different. It's all waves. It's not like the four-dimensional universe that we're from.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's saying that. Is he calling the wave existence God, or is he actually
Yes.
still referring to Deus? Okay.
No, he's referring to the wave existence at this point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of begs the question, did he know about the wave existence from the beginning?
I don't think so. I think he learned about it after absorbing into Deus.
Gotcha. So, what have you come here for, Lacan? I came here to take the person I love back with me, so set Ellie free. The Deus system has been destroyed. It's all over now. So instead I ask you, what are you hoping to achieve now? Transcendence. The time when all things started. The place where all things were one. I'm going to return there. What place? Before the beginning of the universe and the undulating waves of the higher dimension, all things were one. It was the waves spilling out from there that created this four-dimensional universe of ours. Humankind, and the souls of humankind, that were born from there are merely leftovers of those spilled waves. So, you're going back there? Is that what you desire? Lacan, why such reluctance to become one with the god? What attachment could you possibly have to this wretched old world? What meaning can be found in living out such a short existence? Hurting others, hurting yourself, grinding one another down, only to inevitably die and return to dust. Why, everything we could ever desire is here. No need to be troubled by the need for love, for this place is filled with the love of God. I have not lost hope in humans as much as you have, Krellian. Someday humankind will come to understand one another. I sincerely believe that. How can you be so sure? Humans will never come to understand each other. You said that she is the person you love, but can you say that you even truly understand each other? All humans do is place themselves at a comfortable distance from each other and call that mutual understanding, spiritual unity, or true love. But it's all lies. Man cannot associate with others without first deceiving themselves. That is the way that they were created. But one being's ego can't determine everyone's fate. People have the right to choose their own destiny. That is why humans have free will. This is probably a bit of an echo of a conversation he had with Cain.
Mm-hmm.
And what if that will itself was predetermined? What then? Oh, what folly. Humans are just primitive life forms that have no such things as free will. Let me tell you, Krellian, you're the best-looking guy here. Mankind was merely being allowed to live in an imperfect state. As is. As will be. It is for this very reason, because humans have this wretched will or whatnot, that humans must experience sadness and loss. For someone to gain something means another must lose it. It's impossible to make humankind share limited things and affections. So I came to the conclusion that everything must be reverted back to where it all began. To go back to when all was one, waves and nothing else. It is not my human's ego, it is the will of the waves, the will of God. Well, that's alright too. We don't have to be perfect. Actually, being imperfect makes mankind live by helping each other. That's what being human is. That's mutual understanding. That's unity and love. I'm glad. No, I'm proud to be human. Ellie placed the future, tomorrow, in our hands based on our choice. And she's working to keep Deus far from our planet. She is also trying to heal your heart, you who wants to journey all alone to be with God. Can't you understand Ellie's feelings? Do you have to become one with God before you're able to comprehend all this? I understand. I know her feelings, as if they were my own. Yes, she and I are one. We don't need God's help. Well then, prove it to me. Show me this power of humans. Show me this love that you can make you... Oh God. Blah, blah, blah. Show me this love that you say can make you independent of God.
All right.
Brain, mouth just could not keep up with my reading.
Words. That's
Yeah.
all right. You did a good job with. There's a lot of dialogue in this part. Time to deal with the final battle of the game.
Oh, is that Myong?
Looks like Myong, doesn't it?
Sort of, but sort of not.
Mm-hmm. This last fight has a significant name to it. Go ahead and start building up hyper mode again. Ouroboros.
Ah.
So if you recall the Ouroboros ring, Ouroboros, within basically the DNA of Ellie in Krellian's lab. That's kind of what this being represents. It's got kind of the purple hair that Myong has.
An embodiment of the cycle?
Yeah, essentially. We're just gonna lay waste to it with some hyper mode here. So I feel like when Krellian became one with the system here, with Deus, and encountered the wave existence, he kind of found the answer he was looking for. If you recall his quote, if God does not exist, I will make him with my own two hands. It was kind of as opposed to Lacan's objective to destroy everything, destroy God, destroy Mother God. So, but you see just kind of how nihilistic he is in kind of his final dialogue here. And that, along with this music, is such a beautifully done part of this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I should finish it. Yeah, your Robolos has 50,000 HP, but you're probably going to be fine against this enemy. Can't do much damage to you.
Kind of a victory lap.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the end of that.
I really like the kind of like the minimalism of that piece.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Ellie. Faye. It was Krellian. Krellian released me. Krellian? Yes, I came to understand after becoming one with Krellian. His heart was so full of sadness. That is why he desired for he and I to become one with God. Because that would be the return to the beginning of everything, he told me. You should be with him. That is what he said. You see, he already knew. Yes, he already knew how I felt, how you felt, but there was nothing we or he could do. He had no choice but to go forward, even if it meant we lost all feelings, lost everything that was human. For all humankind's sake, there was no going back. Even looking back held too many memories. And he would have just wanted to go back, even though he couldn't. So please forgive him. Krellian loved people more than anyone else. Just misguided, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, broken in a way.
Yeah, somehow I knew it all along. I just knew he was really that kind of person. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I was wrong. I thought sacrificing myself in order to save others was the right thing to do. But my actions only brought sadness to all the people who I left behind. And that sadness gave birth to even more sadness. As long as I still live within you, my life is not just mine alone. Ellie, that isn't wrong. To sacrifice yourself for others is a noble thing. Even if it were to benefit yourself, it's no problem. There'll still always be a person healed. One or the other. Love gains its original shine only when there's an interrelationship between the giver and the receiver. It is incomplete when one or the other is missing. The two are one. It was you, Ellie, who taught me that. I believe that is what it means to be human. I can now understand the true importance of it. I don't know if it's the right answer or not, but we have a lot of time to think about it. What Krellian himself was looking for all along, we will find the answer to it all ourselves. Thank you, Faye. Ellie.
Cutscene time.
Liked it better when they were black transitions. White light so bright.
Yeah.
Let's return to our planet.
That light. It's the point of contact with our world. But the dimensional shift has already begun. Will we make it in time?
Can you run?
If we're together, I can.
Krillian, you.
There's no time. This place is about to be destroyed. Now there is no more God. This is no longer their planet. This is your home planet that you are now standing on.
Krillian, you aren't going, are you?
No. Since that time, I have stopped being human. I've committed so many sins that any attempt at living like a human is impossible. The only one who could have forgiven me was God.
That's not true. I know they would understand. There's still plenty of time to atone for your sins. You, of all people, could do it.
Always the peacemaker, eh, Lacan? Perhaps that's what it means to be human. But regardless, I cannot go. It's something I've already decided. I go to walk with God, even if there's no place left for me upon my return. I must go now.
Krillian.
Actually, I envy you too.
What happened?
Waves from the explosion disrupted the ionosphere, making it impossible to get a visual. They were probably caught up in the explosion.
That's a lie! He'll come back. He promised us he would. I know it.
Run through the cold of the night as passion burns in your heart. Ready to fight, a knife held close by your side.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like a proud wolf alone in the dark.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hang on 1 second. Listen to this real quick. This is the chorus.
Broken mirror, a million shades
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't talking over at least one instance of that chorus there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so it's really thematic of this game, the whole broken mirror theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to give a little credit where credit's due here, this ending song is called Small Two of Pieces. It's a vocal arrangement of Faraway Promise, which is from the music box at the very beginning of the game.
Nice.
Yeah, and this is Irish vocalist Joanne Hogg of the Celtic pop rock band Iona? Yeah, Iona, I think is the name.
Okay.
Yeah, and she did another song for this game called Stars of Tears, which didn't unfortunately make it into the final product, but it is on the soundtrack, and it is on the disc as well, over a collection of FMVs from the game.
Okay.
It was rearranged on the album Creed, which I do recommend if you enjoy this soundtrack. It's a remix of a lot of the music, along with Millennial Fair and, of course, Yasunori Mitsuda, the composer. But it's remixed as Two Wings with Japanese lyrics on that album. And this, Stars of Tears, is a remix of the song Emotions, which is the world map theme. So, quite a lot of great music, and a lot of my favorites are in this ending sequence here. So,
yeah, that's I was thinking as we were watching it, because of who I am as a person, I was like, I need this 90s anime in my life.
I know, right? Yeah, and then this is the first time you ever hear a voice actor for Bart outside of like his speed stuff and like really muted things about. So, you know, you'd sort of heard it before. I'm pretty sure it's the same voice actor, but I was not expecting his voice when I first beat this game.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close I was.
Yeah, you were really close with him and Saiton. Yeah,
it's so funny. Oh man.
Yeah, this is a really powerful ending for a great game.
Yeah, very very potent.
Yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts here as we're kind of closing it out?
Well, it's
quite a lot, right?
It is, and I said this before. Like, I'm at the point where like we could rehash stuff that we've talked about, and there are some things I would like some better understanding of, but it's more like conceptual stuff, not necessarily what's being presented here.
Yeah, definitely.
But all that to say, this is especially this last few episodes of just stuff. Like, it's gonna take me a while to process. This is the kind of thing where it'll be on the back of my mind on a some subconscious level, and then I'll just have like a moment where I'm like, oh, what if such and such, and it'll be like 2 months from now.
Yeah.
And I'll probably say it out loud, and my wife will be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, don't worry about it, it's just had a thought.
Need to message Dan about this, hold on.
Right, yeah. And that's just the kind of like processing I do with stuff like this specifically. I've got to like mull it over and chew on it for a while. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that really. So I do have some final thoughts as we're closing this out. This to me, even after like just addressing the ending first, this is a very hopeful ending. Even after kind of a lot of humanity being absorbed into this weapon, I think what this ending is implying, and especially this final shot right here, life moves on this planet. Like, the people come back, after Deus is destroyed, life continues here, We've got the group, obviously, is here, but humanity has been freed. The system is destroyed. Life will thrive again here on this planet, which is cool. Here's another thing that's kind of cool right about here, I believe. We're going to see. Yep, Xenogears Episode 5, The End.
Well, then where are the other episodes?
Right. So the answer is they're in Perfect Works, unfortunately, because this was conceived as part of a larger universe. And I have a lot of admiration for that creation in Perfect Works. And there have been several other expressions of it. Xenosaga Xenoblade Chronicles over the years that are different from this. But this game is probably going to endure as my favorite of them, just because it's the first one I played, and so it's got sentimental value to me. But thematically as well, I feel.
Sure.
So a few things that always hit me really hard going through this. The idea of the dark, cruel destiny of God. Talking about the contact is not only an elevation of being, but a destiny coming from the wave existence, from God. And you've got this inseparable connection to Deus, as well as Mother God, and by extension, Miang, and more importantly, Ellie. These two people who are connected by a shared destiny through millennia. This is like 10,000 years after the start of this. We're seeing this conclusion. And this is just episode 5. It's fantastic. The idea of a broken mirror, which is, that's from the song we just heard. And I mentioned at the beginning of this game, of our playthrough, that the battle transition was important. The idea of broken mirror, shards of a mirror, go from the battle transition to the fragmenting of phase personality to the fragmenting of God into humans, and the single wing imagery as well, the idea of seeking wholeness, and kind of what Faye was saying near the very end, that he understands how Ellie feels. There's this idea of wholeness in uniting with his other half,
Right.
But he's also a very whole person as well. He mentioned that if he had to, and Ellie had to die in order to save everyone, he was prepared for it. But I don't think he ever would have been the same if that had been the case. And I'm really glad that is not what happened.
Right.
But yeah, more generally speaking, the characterization of this game is what I always come back to, with why I call it a masterpiece and a classic. The dialogue establishes clear and human motives to grapple with, that basically stand in for these larger philosophical concepts, and it invites deeper analysis, but you've still got a story that you can follow. It's very, very grounded. So despite the huge amount of information, lore, provocative material, you are tracking with the characters. And critically speaking, there were we were talking about this earlier, there were a few storylines that were kind of dropped after a certain point.
Right.
Rico, Maria, and to an extent Billy and Choo Choo a little bit. There's not a lot of material for them after a certain point. And the Dis2 ludonarrative dissonance is particularly jarring, and I've learned to accept it personally as a the flaw that makes the masterpiece, if you will.
Right.
But it creates problems with coherence and pacing issues. I have to acknowledge that it is an issue. And part of me really does want a remaster of this game where maybe they complete Dis2. I don't really want a remake. I would rather have a remaster, where you've upgraded kind of the quality of the sprites and everything, and perhaps completion of things that were not completed before. That would be really good.
Yeah, that would still be a massive undertaking because it's a whole lot of story that.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like there was the exposition share, right? And there was a lot of content coming through that, lots of really good narrative beats that I think something is lost because we didn't get to experience them firsthand.
Yes.
But I still feel like that's just like the key points. That's not even talking about like any potential side quests that they had in mind for exploring some of these other characters and giving them more depth. Right. Because oftentimes, some of the best narrative moments that I encounter in RPGs, especially, is actually through the side content. Like the big narrative beats are awesome and they give you that driving force, but it's hey, let's go do a side quest with a specific character, and you learn about their past and their history and what makes them tick, and suddenly the ending for that character makes so much more sense and has so much more weight and impact. And I think it's lost with the way they had to do this too.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, the moment to moment is lost in Disc
Right.
2.
And I don't begrudge them that, right?
Mhm.
Because like, given the option of ending it where they did here versus where they contemplated doing it at the end of Disc 1,
Yeah.
I would still rather have this
Mm-hmm.
than nothing at all.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would have been fantastic. Had it been, you know, a part 1 and a part 2 had that happened. But if it had just been part 1 and then there wouldn't have been a part 2, I definitely would rather have this. I agree with you.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I suppose that's mostly the end of my thoughts. This game means a lot to me because of the involvement. There's so many things that it was my introduction to psychological concepts and figures. Carl Jung, Karen Horney, Sigmund Freud, Jacques Lacan are all very heavily involved in this. The idea of dissociative identity disorder, most recently the Enneagram types, a lot of comparative religion, Gnosticism, Jewish mysticism, philosophy, humanism, existentialism, nihilism to a point with Krellian. And it's a character-driven story. It's not afraid to ask tough questions. The aesthetics and mechanics always appealed to me as well. Gears are cool. Robots are cool. The Deathblow combat system and the mechs are really cool. And I love sci-fi. Outside of the singularity that is the way of existence, kind of the unexplainable but higher dimension being, the entire thing, the whole game can be explained by materialistic science, which is very interesting for a game that has a lot of spiritual themes to it. And just more than anything, the whole idea of becoming whole from shattering on a personal spiritual level is very compelling and beautiful, if I do say so, in my opinion. So if you've enjoyed this playthrough, check this game out. And if you're interested in us playing some other Xeno games, or if there's anything about this game you really enjoyed that you kind of want to see more of, perhaps with some other games that are similar, drop us a comment. Let us know. This has been a great experience for me going back through this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I sincerely hope you've all enjoyed it and maybe gotten something out of it the same way I did the first time I played it. If this is your first time through this game, or perhaps you relived some of your experiences before. But it's truly art, in my opinion, this game is. So, yeah.
Yeah, art is a good descriptor for that. And it's kind of interesting because every video game that I for the most part, I think there are a few exceptions for me, but in general, most video games, especially if they have a strong narrative, I view as a contribution into the art scope, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's tiers of that.
Oh, yeah.
And the same could be said for like books. So this is like a rough analogy. Typically, like there's genre writing, and that's the stuff that most people read, is the high fantasy or sci-fi, or it's the, not that they're generic, they're all good stories in their own right, but they fit within certain parameters and tropes and everything that you expect to see when you read or watch or ingest those specific type of those narratives. And then you've got what people consider literature, right? Which we tend to think of like the classics as literature, but there's literary works being made even now that are meant to be thought-provoking and really get you questioning and bring things to your attention, and they're done in such a way that like it kind of feels like it's a tier above the rest, right?
Yes.
Even if it has a genre associated with it, there's something more high-mindedness. That's the best way I know how to put it. High-minded about it versus like the genre. Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah.
Right. And that's not to downplay the value of the genre writing, right? Like that's valuable and people need to make money too. So there's an element of that to it. Literary works aren't for the money. It's about conveying the message.
Sure. Yeah, there's value to sticking to a specific genre as well, but
right.
I know what you mean. Like there's a way of melding these things that feels very real, right? Like
right.
Yeah.
And this is coming from my perspective because I've done a lot of reading up on writing because of my own journey through authorship and all that. So, all that to say is, this game feels more like a literary work than a genre work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to kind of agreeing with you in a really roundabout way that, yeah, this is a very artistic piece.
Yes.
And it's clearly artistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
yeah, there's a lot of... Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I really appreciate all the thought-provoking moments that were in there. Not just when you're trying to figure out stuff narratively, but as things are progressing, I'm also finding myself asking questions internally of like, not necessarily of like, if I was there, how would I handle that?
Yeah.
But I am with them asking those questions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. This is very much similar to a high modernist piece in that there are a lot of references as well, but you don't necessarily need those to understand kind of the thrust of it. It's a multi-layered work, and what I've heard said a lot about Xenogames is the second time through is just as meaningful, and you get just as much out of it in a different way as you go through it, is how I would choose to put it. Some people say they're fully experienced the second time through. Just because of how they're written. And
it's like a good chili, you know, it's better the second day because it's had time to simmer and situate.
Right. Yeah. So maybe, you know, you can, maybe our viewers could play through this game after watching this playthrough and be like, oh yeah, you know, and remember that. And then, you know, maybe if they don't like my character choices, they can choose the characters they want to use.
Right.
You know,
I mean, I can already tell you now, I can distinctly think of some moments that happened early game that, knowing what I know now, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And some of it's stuff that we've talked about, and some of it's just like reminiscing, or I went back to check something based off conversations that we had to see, you know, whatever. Because sometimes I review previous videos. Like I went and rewatched the opening sequence a couple episodes ago, and it was just like, oh, there is so much more context about what's happening right now in this opening sequence, and it makes a world of difference.
It does. Yeah.
And that's just the opening cutscene. That's not even including everything else that we've gone through.
Right. Right.
So
yeah, agreed. It's really cool. It's very replayable because of that. And it's excellent. It's excellent in a way that is kind of rare in my experience. There are a lot of good games. This is one of those games that just resonates so hard with me. But yeah, I think the other thing I wanted to cover here before we kind of wrap things up is, if you are interested in a longer exploration of the lore in a retrospective format, definitely let us know. I believe we are considering doing that for some of our main series games, and this is one that is ripe for it. I know a lot of people have done that kind of on YouTube and everything, but I think it would be very cool to go through that and kind of compile all of this stuff and kind of talk a little bit about the core lore. I mean, as we're looking at it here, episode 5, what happened in 1 through 4? What's going to happen in 6? Because there are 6 episodes of Xenogears, theoretically.
Wow.
Yeah. And we don't get any of those others in a game format. So I think it would be pretty cool to kind of go through those things. There is also a lot of people that have done that, done a deep lore exploration. So I do want to give a shout out to Resonant Arc, TJ the Emperor, and oh god, I'm forgetting a name.
Retro game? Is it Retrograde Studios or something like that?
Oh, Retrograde Amnesia. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
there it is.
Yeah, them as well. They all did fantastic reviews, and are big Xeno fans. I know, and there are several others as well, and so they've done a lot of coverage of a lot of the in-depth stuff here, on the level of artistic analysis. So check them out. Definitely check them out. I definitely recommend the series, Resonant Arc series on Xenogears, as well as Retrograde Amnesias. They're both excellent from their perspective, and TJ the Emperor is doing I believe it's called a handbook of Xenogears. There are at least 3 episodes out right now, kind of doing a deep dive into so check his stuff out too. And they are by no means the only creators that have explored this game. This is a cult classic for a reason. So,
Right.
I just want to. I also want to extend appreciation to our viewers. There have been a lot of lively comments. Keep them coming. We love them. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. We love comments.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about the end of my thoughts for the moment on this. Again, we'll probably be back with retrospective, but for now we're going to be moving on to another game in our main series. And we've decided on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be moving on to Persona 3 Reload. So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
I'm excited
The
about
votes are in. Overwhelmingly of the like 8 people who voted, overwhelmingly it was Persona 3.
Yeah.
Thank you for interacting.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited to get into that. I love Megaton, and Persona's kind of a offshoot of that a little bit. But yeah, I love all those games. So yeah, we'll probably get more into that as well. But I certainly feel that we will return to Xeno in some way as well. So
Without a doubt.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, we'll probably hit Xeno Saga, Xenoblade. I know there's already support for, so I think that's in our plan as well, kind of long term here. But yeah, for now, thank you for joining us on the journey.
Yeah, and stay tuned for what we have coming down the pipeline. Some of it we got figured out and we're excited for, and the rest figure it out with us, I guess.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But yeah, so like in the meantime, as we said, if you like what you watch, please check out other stuff. I'm sure you'll have a good time. I know we do. We are usually laughing at ourselves, so you won't have to feel bad for laughing at us for being bad at a game.
There you go.
And as we stated before too, comments, like button, subscribe, all of that. We want it. Give it to me, please. But more than anything else, we're just glad to have you here. It means a lot to us that you got to experience this journey with us. And we look forward to doing more with you in the future. But until then, hope you have a wonderful day. And we'll see you all in the next video.
See you on the next journey, everyone.
Bye-bye now.
Diddly diddly do 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 do. Thanks for watching.